Welcome back to Fullerton College's Print 145, Variable Data Imaging. This is your instructor, Ben Hewitt, and today we are going to look at some very basic intro to Microsoft Excel. And some of this knowledge can be applied to other spreadsheet programs, including but not limited to the free one through Google Docs Online, which I've used in a pinch, even in business when I didn't have access to an Excel on that computer. Anyways, spreadsheet programs are not the most exciting things you'll work with this semester or really ever. We are looking at spreadsheets. Admittedly, I do have some fun with these, and so does my wife. We've made interesting spreadsheets that do different things for our hobbies and have had some good success with them. But still, we're just talking about entering data into an organized grid so you can find stuff later. Or in our case, entering data into an organized grid so your computer can find it for you. Keeping this structured correctly is important for making your variable data output actually work. So I'm going to go over some basic lingo and basic orientation today, just so you have an idea what it is we're looking at. So here in Excel, the little green box lit up in the corner here, in corner A1, that's a cell. Every single rectangle inside my grid here is a different cell. Each cell contains data, or can. Right now it all contains nothing. The cells are arranged into rows, which are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You see where I'm going with this. And also organized by columns, A, B, C, D, etc. One of the interesting things with Excel is even before you build your spreadsheet, if you start scrolling and you keep scrolling, the numbers just keep going. You can scroll into the thousands really quickly and it'll just build it as big as it needs to be. I've not looked it up, honestly, and I've not even tried to see how far you can go. But as far as I'm aware, there's not really a limit to where you can go in these. Also, if you keep going with the other direction, scrolling to the side, you get into double and triple letters describing what your cell name is. Every cell name is shown. Let me make my mouse big. Here in the corner, there's D1, C1. Down here is B4. Wherever you click, it'll tell you in the corner here what it is, A8, for all you Audi drivers out there. And it's just like the old game Battleship. You pick a letter, you pick a number, and you go to the letter down to where the number is, and that's the cell that you're in. Again, not the most new or exciting thing, but you got to know this stuff. If you want to select multiple cells, use your cursor to click in the middle of a cell and drag a box, and it will select everything inside that area. I'm going to show you a few things about how the data input works and what it does with your data that'll be useful to us in our output. First off, if you click, you don't even have to double click, just select a cell and you can start typing. Anything you want can go in here. There is what I actually typed. If you hit return at the end of that, it does not take you to a new line, by the way. That does not work like a Word document processor. It does not work like typing text into InDesign. This will move you to the next cell if you hit return. Tab takes you across your row. Return takes you down your column. Shift return takes you up your column, and shift tab does something else. No, it takes you left on your row, making sure. Don't forget that Alt tab or Option tab does something completely different and will give you the option to look at other programs in your computer. That's neither here nor there. So I've typed all these words. You can see that it's down here in cell A1, but up on the top row here, it says A1, and then after this series of characters, it says you can start typing, and it goes here. Anything typed in the top row also appears in the cell, and vice versa. So if you type it in the top, it appears in the cell. If you type it in the cell, it appears in the top. Now, here's the next interesting thing here. There's more data than the cell is in size right now. Just so you understand this, everything I just typed is all still inside section A1, but it's showing you the whole thing. Just to panic some of you and just to show you what this does, let me click on B1. And I can type in B1 is other text. Of course, you know, basic typing skills are also useful. What is this? Now it says you can start in B1, there is other text. Did I just type over the A? Did I just ruin what I've typed? Hopefully not, because that would ruin my video. If you click on the A, you can still see that it's all there. If you click on the B, it's all there. If I put anything in C, here's a J. Now that covers it. It stacks them like laying out crackers on a party platter. You stack them one on top of the other to make it look really nice for your party guests who take crackers and cheese. You only see what's on top. I guess I'm a little hungry. I probably shouldn't record hungry, so now all my analogies become food. But just like stacking party crackers, whatever the top one is, you see the whole face of, and whatever's underneath is tucked under the one on top of it. So A1 ends up being at the bottom of the stack, and B1 is laid on top of it. You can still see when I click on A1 that all the text that was entered is still there. Nothing has gone away. Don't panic. It's all there. If you wish to be able to see everything in your squares and your cells, let me show you how to do that. One option is to move your cursor up to where the A and the B columns are touching and double click on that little gray line that separates A from B. Doo-doo. That makes A as wide as the widest amount of text inside cell A. This can be convenient if you really need to read the whole word. I find it oftentimes this is inconvenient and makes it harder for me to see the whole spreadsheet. In the end, as long as the data is inside, the data is inside. You can also do things, and people like to do this for other reasons in Excel. If you go up here to the top, you click on Wrap Text. The text now goes to the width that you set the cell to and continues to populate as far down as you need to, and it gets weird if it gets too small. And you can see that it's all inside. If I double click, it opens the whole thing up to the full height. Again, these two formatting things I just showed you, making the cell width wider or making the text wrap, is really only a preview thing that if you're looking at the spreadsheet in a spreadsheet program, it'll show it to you that way. For variable data printing, this does a whole lot of nothing. So if any of these views is more convenient to you and how you see them, feel free to use it. If any of these are not convenient to how you see them, forget you saw anything. Let me take away text wrap and go back to this. I'll show you a few other interesting things that Excel can do for you that'll actually make sense. Oops. In what we're using this for in XMPy and other variable data integration software. If you need to populate fields that are all the same, if you click on a cell, you take your little cursor cross here, and it's right now it's a white cross with a black outline. But if you go to that bottom corner of that little green dot, it becomes a black cross with a white outline. And if I click on that, oops, I missed. If I click on that and drag straight down, you can create a huge amount of the same data. It'll populate every cell below it, or you go to the side, it'll do the same to the side. Every cell you go to will have the same information in it. Undo, undo. Now, another interesting thing, and be warned, this is a really cool party trick right now, but this can come back to haunt you later on with data management. Excel understands when you're typing in numbers and when you're typing in letters. So watch this. If I have a single number and I click that corner and I drag down, I get that number in all the different ones I want. If I have a sequence of numbers and I click on both of them, I held down Shift and selected the other, but you could also do the drag like that to get both. And then I take that little black cross and I drag straight down. This is going to be different. Watch that. It just counted from 1 to 13 for me. This is a very useful little technique for adding signifying numbers and markings to variable data systems without a lot of effort on your part. You can also do it with different number sequences. Watch this, 2, 4, 6, 8, who do we appreciate? Excel. 5, 10, let's see if it does it here. It will count by the numbers that you give it, and it'll continue to do that. So if you want to create any sort of numbering system to help you understand what's going on when you're looking at printed out records later, this is a great way to include them. But be warned, if you're trying to do like what I did in column D, where I tried to make the same number go over and over again, and you accidentally get 2, it's going to figure out a way of adding them and continuing to count by the number it thinks you want. My last warning before we sign off for today is dates. If you type a date into Excel, sometimes it will change how it's written. and you start dragging them, look at that. You can't copy a date through that method. If I copy that date, it keeps counting them through the calendar. I did a late in June date, and I dragged down, and I kept counting through June until it hit July. So keep that in mind too. Excel recognizes dates, and it recognizes them in many different formats, and will continue to count dates if you try to move or play with them. So properly warned EV, says the little skull before you go down the drop. Anyways, this is about all we're going to go through for this video. Thank you for listening and watching. My mouse disconnected.